Hey, what's up everybody? It's Lids, and we're back for some more Pyre Community RITE Night, which means of course some good old-fashioned multiplayer Pyre, featuring first and foremost none other than the members of the RITE Club Discord server, the place for all things multiplayer Pyre. And if you're interested in getting more involved in multiplayer Pyre, then look no further, because you can join said Discord group by clicking on that link right there. But those of you in chat, you are not off the hook. No, because you see the red circle with the white L below chat? You click on that and you'll find all the various requests that you can make today, including things ranging from selecting players, exiles, masteries, songs, arenas, even Titan Stars are all fair game. So, without further ado, let's hop into versus mode here, and let me know if there's anyone who would like to get us started today. I think I saw Lilac saying good to go, it seems. It is the first day, at least in the US, of daylight savings, and there are some places that do it, some places that don't. I think some places that do it at slightly different times of year. I feel like in Europe, we've seen in years past, it's been like 1 year early, or 1 year, 1 week earlier, or 1 week later. And so that is all to say that everyone's timing might be just a little bit off today. And since, of course, we've been doing this for a while now, these RITE Nights, we've typically found that it, on this first day of daylight savings, it usually takes a little bit for people to realize, oh, hey, wait, this is the time when RITE Night is happening. So, let's see. Phaler, how's it going? Phaler says he wishes to jump in. Has anyone else expressed interest in the meantime? Or is Phaler now the first to lay claim to the second spot? Because I think he might be. Where's Macaus? I don't know. Maybe Macaus forgot about daylight savings. I don't know. Could be. Happens to the best of us, I'm afraid. I also occasionally, since I start up Steam Friends before starting up the stream, of course, I will sometimes see Steam tell me, oh, such and such person is currently playing X game. And sometimes it's, of course, people who are some of the main participants in RITE Night. So I may or may not have noticed that Core in particular seemed to be in, and sometimes Steam is pretty specific. It not only says what game they're playing, it says this person is playing this game, this is the character they're playing, this is the level that their character is, this is the like floor, the zone that they're in. So it's like, oh, okay, I've just learned a whole lot about what's happening right now. So, you know, not to name names or anything, but I may or may not have seen this specifically with Core. Does it? Yeah, I think Path of Exile, I think it tells you what level your character is and what zone you're in. It varies from game to game, I guess, just how specific it gets, but there are some cases where it's pretty telling. Alright, well, I think we have Lilac and Phaler are the first two to express interest. Anor has also expressed interest, so maybe we can keep that in mind and look for an opportunity to swap Anor in the relatively near future. But let me delay no further. Let me get these people in here. And also let me jump into Discord, because I have not yet done that myself. There we are. Okay. Alright, and let us know, of course, if there is anything we would like to see request-wise for this first match, or if we're feeling like we want to give the players a little chance to warm up. That's up to you. Oh! Why, hello there, Tizo. I'm afraid I don't speak imp.
Hello.
Hello, how's it going, Lilac?
As you might have thank you for the invite. As you might have noted, hello?
I saw you had a message
Yeah.
early on saying you had
Uh-huh.
some other information or something.
I made a little, okay. I made a little something that if you, like, had the time or the energy to watch, that I thought you and the rest of RITE NITE might be interested in viewing.
Sounds like a video or presentation of some sort.
Yes, it's relatively short, so it shouldn't, like, take up too much of your time.
Okay. Is this what form is this in? Is this a video that we would pop up? Is this
It's
like
a YouTube video that I was hoping that you could show it on stream, but you
Okay.
don't have to. Don't worry, it's
how
nothing
about
bad.
Well, I guess let me first ask, and I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this, but is it appropriate for showing on stream? I imagine it would be.
What are the qualifications?
The fact that you need to ask that is a little concerning. I thought this was kind of a given.
No, I meant like I can't remember. Can streams get taken down for using certain music?
Oh
That's what I
yes.
meant.
Yeah, actually yes.
Okay. Then you'll have to watch it muted, I guess.
Okay. All right. In that
It'll
case,
end-
we may or may not be able to do it on stream. Worst comes to worst, of course, you could always throw it in the RITE Club somewhere on Discord.
Just streamed just straight up movies on Twitch before and not gotten banned for it. I think a couple minutes of a song will be fine.
Yeah, it does vary and depends on, it depends.
Yeah.
But it is definitely not allowed, technically speaking.
Okay.
So
Okay.
one can get in trouble. As for whether other people have always gotten in trouble for it in the past, that's a different question. But technically speaking.
Okay, I mean, I could be pushy and ask, like, well, maybe you could watch it with the sound off, but
right.
also
I mean, like,
understand
technically that could be possible.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
That might detract from it enough that doesn't feel like it does it justice. In which case, it could be best to just post it in Discord and say, "Hey, people, go check it out."
I mean,
Yeah, technically, when it comes to all that stuff, stream. I mean. Do we want to have a lecture about intellectual property law in the U.S.?
No, it's
Is that
fine.
what we want to have right now? Because that's the direction we're going in.
Like, if you're fine with it, I don't think it would detract too much from the effect if you just watched it with the sound off, especially because I was hoping that a certain Arker Bash pause would be
would bear witness to this.
Yes. It may or may not be somewhat inspired by some of his creative works, shall we say?
Oh, okay.
Are you familiar with the musical works of Chapel Roan?
Not particularly.
Alright. I'm just going to link it in... Okay, I'm going to link it in the voice text, and if you want to show it on screen without sound because it probably has copyrighted music, then
yeah, if that's the music in question, then yeah, that is definitely not okay.
Then
it's like, what? Yeah, again, I'm not gonna beat a dead horse here, but
yeah, I'm posting it in hello. I just heard my own voice for a second. Hold on. That was very strange. Anyways, I'm posting it in the Black Wagon channel. If you want to present it with no sound, I would be elated, but if you don't, I understand.
Okay. I think either way, it would probably make sense for us to just get into the action, and if we were to show it, then we'd probably show it at the end, but again, given the other potential issues around it, it may or may not make sense, so we can circle back to that and figure out if it makes sense later on. But as for now, why don't we get ourselves started here? Do we have we had a song request for the most glorious of traditions, or at least specifically Phaler choosing the song, which I believe Phaler said the most glorious of traditions.
Oh, that
So we have
reminds
that.
me, I maybe had a request.
Yeah?
It technically is an Exiles request, but I also kind of wanted it to cover masteries and talismans, so should I like purchase each of those requests individually?
I mean, it's a
or-
little hard for me to answer that in the abstract, but it sounds like technically that might be the right move.
I'll start with Exiles and then go from there.
Ah, I see. Okay. But are you looking, ideally you're looking for a mirror match across the board in terms of Exiles,
Yes.
Masteries, and Talismans?
Yes.
Okay, so I mean, technically speaking, yeah, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
because you could say, oh, I just
Mhm.
want the Exiles to be the same, or I just want the Talismans to be the same.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a bit of a difference.
It is. I am asking for Exiles, Masteries, and Talisman.
Okay, gotcha. You got that, Phaler? So mirror match here, exactly the same team is what that means.
Just to clarify, am I to pay extra for that, or is it just the?
Nah, it's all good.
Okay.
I'm an honor just doing this one. It's fine.
Okay.
Let's just go.
Also, I
I'm
did
ready.
this last week with Core, and something he did was like each one of us pick an exile.
Oh, okay.
To mirror.
I was about
because-
to say, because otherwise, whoever is player one is
Yeah.
basically dictating the entire
Yeah.
matchup.
Yeah. So I
Also, have
thought
we
it'd be-
established who's player one and who's player two here?
I'm player two.
Phaler, you said you're player two?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, you proved your point. One moment.
I will be. I'm gonna get spicy today. I'll be
Oh.
dissonance this week.
Ooh. Okay. Let's see. Phaler here, Lilac there. We have a Dissidence here. And Phaler, you're currently on the Accusers, but are you going to end up on the Fate?
Yeah.
Okay.
What would you pick if I ended up picking the Fate?
The Accusers.
And a bold choice. A very bold choice.
I just like the contrast between the purple and the yellow. I think it's really easy to see, and I have a
That's-
small amount of
yes.
color blindness.
Ah.
Like, if
Mhm.
we were to play, like, for example, like, one of the things we did in the colors mod was make the withdrawn
Mm-hmm.
and the tempers further apart from each other, and also to make the Pyre Hearts and Essence further apart from each other. Because of
I
those two teams we're
see.
playing, it used to be actually pretty hard to tell the two apart,
Mm,
even
Yeah.
for, like,
mhm.
regular people.
To the point where fairly often we would have people deliberately change up their team just for the sake of having more contrast between the two colors if we had
Mhm.
that matchup.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I think we're... Oh, hold on. Let me get you on the Dissidence here. I think we're good to go here. So we have...
Dog team versus dog team.
We have the mirror match request, which again means that both players will be using identical teams from an Exiles, Masteries, and Talisman standpoint, and it sounds like we're going to switch off, where the first character, either Lilac or Phaler, will be the one who decides exactly what their setup is, and then the other person will choose the next character so that we don't have player one just deciding every single character
Mhm.
setup.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's just about it now. So why don't we get going?
Have you ever wondered what is that in the Dissidence Triumvirate sigil?
I think it's a skull, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Looks like a skull to me, yeah.
I think in the Book of Rites it described it as quote unquote a leering maw, but that's kind of vague.
It looks like this right here, the imp,
It kind of does actually.
which does
would
make sense since it is technically the imp triumvirate, even though it's
Yeah.
all curs.
Who shall conduct the rites?
All
All right.
I'll give you the first two picks, and I'll do the third pick. That's how I want to do it.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So Lilac choosing
I
here.
have no mouse controls.
Let me
Thank you.
Let
Thank
me
you.
do this. Oh, also, wait, I messed it up. I pretty sure I have my controller plugged in right now. Wait, well, you know what? If it's working right now, I'm just gonna leave everything as is.
It seems it's working for me. It's
I'm not gonna
working for
unplug
me.
the controller.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I may
Fingers
have messed
crossed.
everything up because I forgot to unplug my controller. That's my bad.
No worries.
But if it's fine right now, just don't touch it. I will leave it plugged in.
Don't worry about it.
Alright, so it was a Speedy Bertrude is what Lilac chose here with Stubborn Flame. So that means that both players will end up with that setup in the lead spot. So that was Lilac's selection, and it sounds like Lilac will also be the one selecting the second exile. Phaler will be the one determining what the third exile is all about. And it's Reduced Hope Gilman in that second spot, all the way down on the left side. Taking the Stunning Claim and Seize Chance along the way.
Say, Lids, I've got a rather personal question that I've been wanting to ask.
Alright.
This one's
We're gonna
Phaler's.
go with a Tizo. We're gonna go with the Fluffy Boy. We're gonna go on the left side. We're gonna go Elusive Nature. We're gonna go Titan's Rage. On the right hand side, we're gonna go with Moon Sign. We're gonna go with Last Laugh. We're gonna go with a Webbed Lanthorn.
Very classic imp setup here.
Tizo.
It's funny
now it's the
because
personal
oh, yes. Personal question for Lids. And if this is too personal, you don't have to answer, but, do you have a birthday?
No, I'm a primordial entity.
He's a Twitch elemental.
I didn't
His birthday
expect
is when
that
Twitch
big of a
first came
reaction. Wait, what did you say?
I'm a primordial
His birthday is
entity.
When
I s-
Twitch first came online, he's a Twitch elemental.
I see. I didn't expect you to have that big of a reaction. Is that a yes or a no?
What do you think?
I'm assuming it's a no.
See how he
Lids
can't
is
say yes?
chaos
He's a
incarnate.
fae, I think.
Hmm?
See how he can't actually say yes?
Yes.
He's not saying the word yes. He's a fae. He's some sort of other being.
Uh-huh.
Tizo.
Dang it was.
Well,
Every
anyways.
time I hear that word, it's like when a dog hears the word treat. When someone says the word fire, I think of something very different than what most people associate with the word.
Well, alas, we have now started with our first match of the day. Again, this is a mirror match where the players have selected the same teams down to the Exiles, Masteries, and Talismans. It is Phaler who has gotten us started here, and Phaler who follows up, and with that Stubborn Flame, of course, it means whoever is in the lead is going to then have a harder time scoring, as their damage will be reduced by 10. Have we established that apparently I'm Celeste? What?
What?
When did this happen? I do
Wait,
not
is this,
remember
like,
this being the
about
case.
Celeste bot or something?
The Worm Knight somehow
And
did
now
it.
the Worm Knight, plunging for 23, and no Stubborn Flame penalty for Lilac there, in which case that leaves us pretty close, but Phaler technically still in the lead here, and with no one back to defend against this, it means an opportunity for an uncontested throw, although Stubborn Flame is active, so it's only 20 damage here. Those imps in the middle, causing a little bit of a fuss. Lilac
Liz,
Down
do you
goes
have
Bertford.
do you have like a date upon which you spawned into existence?
At first, there was nothing.
And then there was Liz.
Banished all of them.
Opportunity again for an uncontested crone throw for Phaler. This one once again for 20, and it means Lilac holding on with 9 Pyre life here, and Stubborn Flame may still be active for Phaler, but it is still possible for him to get enough damage to finish this with just 1 score, certainly with Siege Chance active, as is the case here. And so he will plunge in with his
GG.
worm for the win.
'Twas as though the scribes
And so they
themselves
said,
stood by their
let there
side.
be Lids.
Let there be Liz.
Thus end this night's proceedings.
GG. Alright, let us head back.
Until the next rite.
Oh, and Ari says you have a request that requires several things, all for the sake of giving Orlac the no, no.
They're really gonna do it. They mentioned this. I was talking to them before Right Night started, and they mentioned
Oh
something
no,
like this.
it's premeditated. That makes it all the worse. Well, theoretically, that means that Ari is scheming here. We'll see what, if any, requests. Yep, okay, they're coming in now. First, it's an Exiles request. Orlac, plus another Demon and Nomad. Okay, but it sounds
Okay.
like there's going to be a lot more than just that. Given what Ari was saying, it seems like this will require a fair bit more setup.
I'm concerned.
As am I.
Here's a less personal question for you, oh great Lids. How did you get into Pyre? I'm curious.
I mean, I played, what was the first Supergiant? The first Supergiant game that I played was Transistor,
Mhm.
and I really liked Transistor. Then, but this was several years after Transistor was released, so I was a little bit late to the game there. Then, after having finished Transistor, went back, played Bastion, liked Bastion, and so at that point, Supergiant was 2 for 2 for me, so I liked everything they had done and thought, okay, next game that comes out from these guys, I'd like to check it out. And then I saw the previews, the trailers for Pyre, and forget, at the time, for whatever reason, I either didn't have a console or my PC wasn't in a place where I was in a position to play it immediately. So I had to wait a while before I was able to play it. But it still had my attention. And then eventually, I think it was when I started streaming. At first I was streaming just Path of Exile, so totally unrelated, not Supergiant affiliated at all. But then when I saw the first Hades was coming out soon, I thought, okay, this would be a good time to finally get around to playing Pyre, check that out, and that can be a bit of a warm-up back into the Supergiant world before then dipping my toe into the Hades world. So, in some ways, I always had my eye on it and wanted to play it, but the excuse to eventually get around and start doing it was Hades coming out soon.
That's actually quite fascinating to me. Like, I honestly cannot imagine a Lids Vids without Pyre.
I mean, it was technically on YouTube, at least. It was the first game that I ever played. On Twitch, again, technically, Twitch I started doing about a year or so before I did on YouTube, and Twitch was at first exclusively Path of Exile, but it was very early days in the grand scheme of things that we started.
Or like
doing
I just kind of imagine you like you spawned in when Right Night became a thing.
But technically, I mean, Phaler could speak to this more than I can, but technically, Right Night predates me.
Yeah, Right Club has existed since longer than Lids has been doing.
Wait, what? Wait, what?
I mean, you know that Phaler is the person who created this Discord, not me, right?
I did not.
His
I
eye.
did not. Oh my god. It is an honor.
Well, there you go. There's a lore drop for you.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Given that I have the mod role and Lids doesn't, I thought that would have been kind of clear actually. But you have to pay attention, I guess, to spot that. But
I
yeah,
mean, I thought you were
Sorry.
just like really good at Pyre, or really good with like technical stuff, and so Lids was like, okay, you're like my right hand man.
No, if anything, I'm technically Phaler's right-hand man.
Wow.
At least when it comes to Pyre.
Wow.
Lids is the face of the party, so to speak. Lids is
I'm
our
in the
creative
I'm in the
I'm
presence of
simply-
the scribes themselves.
I mean, that is quite literally the name of Phaler's role on Discord.
Mm-hmm.
So you are not wrong in that regard.
Yeah, Right Club was founded in the winter of 2019, about a year after Pyre's release. After I spent the whole summer kind of obsessed with it, so I wanted people to play with. I thought the game was really good. I did a number of all
Understandable.
Titan Stars playthroughs, and the AI wasn't good enough for me. So I wondered, do people like would a human intelligence behind this be more interesting to play against? And Dan was I right. Speaking of which, I think we have our request locked and loaded
I
here.
think they're all in. Yeah, let's take a look.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so we
I'm
have
scared.
the Orlek plus another demon and Nomad. Skills-wise, the demon has greater banishment, and the Nomad has divine retribution. Okay, now I see. I'm starting to understand. Orlek has astral eye, other teammate has sunken shadow. Yeah, basically, for those who are unfamiliar with the names of these masteries and talismans, basically we are looking at everything that can possibly increase the amount of time that someone is banished for. All with the intention of, as Ari said before, giving Orlek the longest, quote, depression nap, unquote, possible. So that's the setup. We do have a song request from Honor saying this time it'll be Lilac's choice. Lilac will go Knights of the Sea, okay. Gotcha. And then Arena, the Boat.
The
Of
Boat.
course.
But of course, it's a demon match.
Oh,
Would
that's
you
true.
expect anything
That's
less?
true. I was thinking, where would be the most appropriate place for Orlek to take a very long nap, and maybe Orlek just gets a little seasick sometimes.
The dissidents versus the fate.
Okay, now there was a lot requested, so please walk me through.
Yeah, so we have
But I'm-
Orlek. I technically don't. Oh no, Orlek has the talisman that gives him the minus hope. The astral eye here. Yep. I think
Okay.
besides that, you're free to take whatever you want on Orlek. So that gets him to -2 hope.
The doctor is a sad man.
This match is going to make the doctor a very sad man, I'm afraid. Oh, could you hear that? That was the sound of. Remember when I said my controller was still plugged in? That was the sound of my controller vibrating on the table.
Why is it vibrating?
Apparently, my controller did not like Orlek being sad.
Orlek.
Okay, so Orlek is now set for both teams. Then there's a Nomad and there's another Demon, are the two other characters. And so for the Nomad, there is a mastery that increases the amount of banishment time for opponents. Is it all the way down on the right? Is that? It's one that we don't often see. I think it's all the way down on the right side. Yeah. Headwind and his allies cause banished adversaries to remain banished for 2 seconds longer than usual. So again, longer nap for Orlek. I mean, 2 seconds in the grand scheme of things for what is a base 30-second respawn time is not that big of a difference, but you know, we're going for everything we can possibly get here.
Is this the like only set request, or are there any other masteries that I have to pick specifically?
On the Nomad, that is the only thing that you must take.
Okay.
There is also something you must take for the Demon. And then, talisman-wise, one of your 2 characters has a talisman that they need to have. The Sunken Shadow, which is a stone-like object on the first page near the bottom. That one.
And it can go to...
Either the Nomad or the Demon.
Okay.
I don't think Ari specified. I think it was just put it on either of these 2 people. So that's another plus 2 seconds to banishment time. I think specifically in that case, it has to be the person who has the talisman, of course, in order to get that additional 2 seconds, whereas the Nomad Mastery we saw gives that plus 2 banishment time for everyone.
I just had a terrible idea.
Uh-oh.
Could we, if we want to give him the longest nap possible, what if we were to give Orlek, hope boosting?
And give him a hangover as well.
Give him a hangover?
Technically speaking, that would be the way to get the biggest, or the technically smallest number.
Should we do that?
I mean, do I spoil it?
Well, what?
Technically, having negative stats does not numerically affect anything.
Okay.
So, it would look funny on the setup screen, but in practice, it wouldn't actually do anything.
I mean, unless we want to go with what's funniest.
True.
Your call.
I would say, given how it does not have any actual impact on the match, and we've already set up the teams a bit here, that we ought to just go through as is.
Alright.
But, as we were saying, technically speaking, if you wanted to at least see on this page right here the smallest possible hope number, the largest negative number from an absolute value standpoint, then you would do something like give Orlek the hope egg to increase his hope in one match, and then in the next match he would have a hope hangover of -8 or -8. So rather than starting with 1, he'd start with -7 hope, which again technically doesn't do anything because having negative stats is functionally the same as having just 1 on the given stat, but it would look silly, at least on this page here.
Maybe next time.
Maybe next time.
So what do I do with my
for this
second
one,
demon?
so I think it's once again all the way down on the right side is the mastery in question. Okay, so this is a percentage, 30% longer than usual to take to banish opponents. So I think that means that the demon is going to be the one most capable of banishing Orlek for a long period of time. Even if we had that plus 2 second banishment from Headwind, I think the 30% increase when we're dealing with a 30-second base respawn time for Orlek, the math there is working more in Jody's favor than it is in Headwind's. So just that mastery, anything else is fine, and you've already taken the talisman in question, so I think you're fine to take whatever you want talisman-wise here.
Jodariel.
Wow, he is yellow.
He is very yellow.
Like a banana.
Ignarius.
Banana Ignarius. I'm afraid he's here to ruin Orlek's day. In fact, I'm afraid everyone is here to ruin Orlek's day right now.
You know what you must do now. Ah.
I mean, if you immediately plunge with Orlek every time, then you can completely ignore the whole banish Orlek for an eternity thing. But I'm afraid this is kind of the circumstance we were expecting. Was that, given all the crazy banishment times that we are seeing, there's going to be a lot of times when everyone is going to be banished. And give some uncontested scoring opportunities like we just saw and like we will see again, and it is Orlek who is doing the scoring here for Phaler, fittingly enough. But as he is throwing, not plunging, it means he is sticking around one round to the next, and it means he can potentially, of course, still be banished for all of eternity, as Orlek is jumping all over the place for Lilac, everywhere except for toward the Pyre, at least until the very end.
None left unscathed.
Now it is a long wait for Phaler to get Orlek back, but he doesn't need Orlek, at least not when Iggy is doing his boat magic. But Orlek has returned, and he throws it in for 33 once again. I believe this has been all Orlek for Phaler. There's something poetic about that, given the circumstances. Orlek again.
Orlek threw it in.
Okay, one Joe Dario. I want one Joe Dario to banish one Orlek. I want to see the longest possible respawn time.
All banished.
That is very important to me.
Oh, well, I'm afraid both of the Orleks are now gone for a while. Except Phaler did take the Sacred Bond, which means he can bring Orlek back by stepping on the portrait, and that is a pretty significant workaround. I think he used that once before to set up the Orlek score.
No!
Oh, as Iggy this time finger guns his way in.
Oh, I forgot you had Iggy instead of Jodario.
Iggy actually has less damage than Orlek because of Orlek's talisman. Didn't lose hope for nothing. Did get some damage in return. Here is Jodariel. She's banished. Everyone banished on Lilac's side, and it'll be a while until they return, which means Phaler does have time to get it to Orlek to take the win.
GG.
GG.
And what a crushing victory it was.
So I think it should have been, what? Just doing the math.
The right
39 seconds, I think?
Good God.
If Jody were to have banished Orlek. Although, technically speaking,
Didn't do it right.
putting the talisman on the demon would have actually been the most effective way. Oh, and then there's also the, I forgot about the boost from the Nomad that affects everyone.
Yeah,
So it'd actually be higher than that. Yeah.
Times 1.3, 39 plus 2 plus another 2 from the Nomad.
Yeah.
So it's a total of 43 seconds. Would be the worst. There's a short depression nap. I think you can have a longer nap than that. But that's the theoretical best.
Uh-oh. Oh, okay. I was gonna say, after we just did what was a pretty crazy match, Anor then immediately follows that up by saying, alright, it is time. That made me a little nervous. But we're just turning Customize off. That's okay. That's fine. We can do that.
Fine. It's safe.
Relative to what we've already seen today, I think it is safe, oddly enough. Of course, it does mean randomized exiles, masteries, and talismans. Won't even get to see what those things are in advance. Just going to get thrown straight into the action. We could still do an arena. We could still do a song if either of those are of interest. But otherwise, just about everything else is locked in here. Do we want to see any of those things? Or is Customize up? Oh! Thrash Pack. Okay. Oh, I accidentally hit the commence button. One moment.
Wait, maybe it'll be Thrash Pack
I mean...
randomly.
The dissidents shall now face the fate.
Hold on. Is it Thrash Pack?
Begin.
It is not.
No!
Okay, hold on. One moment.
Betrayal!
There we go.
The dissidents.
Alright, we're at the Fall of Solium now instead. It is double harp and worm for Lilac. It is an imp, a sap, and a worm for Phaler. It is Thrashback now, of course. We'll see what else we can learn about these teams as Phaler gets us started with a 15 damage throw.
The orb is taken.
Back with Gilman now. Avoids the banishment and then follows up with another 15 damage throw. Gilman sidesteps. This time the throw is a little bit shorter. Just 11 damage here. I feel like I just saw a fairly large number from that throw from Lady River for Lilac. She might have extra damage, that Lady River, at least on throws. Here is Lady River. As for whether my eyes deceived me, or whether that is actually the case, we have yet to know, yet to confirm. Right now it is a worm showdown. Oh, Typhoon Bottle activates, which is convenient, except that Phaler did just get the orb back right next to Lilac's Pyre, and technically has the best exile when it comes to anti-Typhoon Bottle stuffs. He does, however, wait for one of Lilac's exiles to come back so that he can throw that one in, instead of requiring the plunge, which would have, of course, taken Gilman out for the next round, which would have meant he wouldn't have been able to have thrown that one in for 10. Phaler now with Palmas. That wasn't a nutrition state blink, was it? Oh, that's a canned singularity on Gilman, I'm pretty sure I just saw. For Phaler. There is a visual effect for it. It's a little bit subtle. At least if you only see it out of the corner of your eye. If you're staring straight at it, it's pretty clear, but I think I saw it. And don't think that was a nutrition stick? Just seemed like a slightly long blink there, but not quite long enough from Palmas to be absolutely certain. That is absolutely canned singularity, but is it actually on Tizo? Might have been on Tizo. That is also a very dangerous portal for Phaler, which he is threatening to go through. Lilac, however, very aware of this threat. Phaler tried to throw the orb through the portal. If that worked, it would have been incredible. I don't know if I've ever seen anyone try that before, to be honest with you, but if it did, that would have been absolutely groundbreaking. Here is Lady River. Yeah, definitely not the nutrition stick on Palmas. Okay. Star sign. Oh, so it's a super portal for Phaler, and that's not quite enough, though, to set up Tizo, but there's the Typhoon Bottle briefly activating. Not very long, though, as Lilac did eventually get an exile back, and that meant easier for Phaler to throw that one in. And it means one more score is potentially all that Phaler needs here. Of course, we don't really know if Lilac has some unexpected rekindling from RITE Night, talisman that gives 20 rekindling. Tamitha. And Zoxiana. Lilac now up to full strength, but loses Lady River. Opportunity now for Phaler to launch into an attack. Tizo banishes 2, sets up a dangerous portal. Lilac gets the orb back, though. But with just Lady River here, needs to be a little bit cautious. Makes a move, loses Lady River, but both of the harps have returned now. Phaler, once again, very dangerous portal, thinks about using it. Does go through it. Lilac was there. Oh, except Phaler gets it back! And throws it in, but it's only 8 damage. Lilac holds on. Just as it looked like it all might have been over. Incredible play from Phaler's Gilman, but it just wasn't quite enough to finish the job altogether. Seemed like he would have had the time to charge up that throw. but instead only got partial damage, and that is the reason why Lilac is still holding on here. Here is Gilman again. We'll see if he can repeat that magic. As he eludes one of the defenders again, that throw is unblockable, but it is short. Lilac now with Lady River. Taylor with the exploding sapling. Able to win the orb back, and has a sapling, giving him a somewhat safe area to throw it from. Now that area is even closer. Oh, but the throw is off the mark, except everyone is down, except this is... Now, at one point, we saw Taylor with the best anti-Typhoon Bottle character in a worm. The saps are just the opposite, but with this throw, now Taylor does have enough damage to take the win. GG. Well played, you
I'm
two.
pretty sure I have a thorn knot on that Gilman. That or a explosion radius was pretty big.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think it was actually your Tizo that had the canned singularity.
Yeah, definitely was.
Until the next rite.
Alright, well, let us know, chat, if there's anything we would like to see for the next one. That was Customize Off, which is why it was a bit of a mystery as to what exactly the players had setup-wise. We could, of course, always just keep this request lists and leave it up to the players to take whatever they'd like. Not sure if we've had one of those matches yet today. Well, at the very least, hold on a second. I'm a little confused. I'm unfamiliar with this word.
What do you mean?
I cannot say I am particularly familiar with what a bogut is. Believe that is a retired professional basketball player, former first overall pick.
I'll be darned.
The more you know. Not spelled the same way, but there is some truth to that statement.
To clear up any confusion, it is in fact a boat request.
Okay. Well, it seems like that may be all. So why don't we get this one started, and we'll leave at least the team setups up to the players here. Core!
The dissidents.
Huh.
Or
funny.
what a lovely surprise! I didn't think I'd see you here this fine right night.
I thought Core was busy. Hello, chum. You see...
What?
You see, the thing is...
Wait, I didn't pick that! I didn't
the game
pick that.
says otherwise.
Where even... What? Wait,
It's
it's
that
all
one.
over there. I was picking this one!
Yeah, I don't know.
Or what did you do?
Core says, I gained Riz. I don't think that's how that works. Or if it is, I don't think saying the words, I gained Riz, does
If
anything.
anything that lowers your riz, the fact that you're saying those words
Right.
out loud.
Exactly.
But Core, if you'll direct your attention to my where did it go? To my little team setup here. Won't you observe with your eyeballs? Mm-hmm.
I like that you had to specify that he's observing specifically with his eyeballs. What else was he going to observe with?
Ignatius.
His elbow?
You're supposed to just feel it through sound waves.
Exactly.
Echolocate the team setup.
Core is
Through
one of those,
echolocation?
slug people.
Tizo.
Sonar?
He feels it with his feelers.
His antennae?
Thor, what do you think kindred spirits means? I'm genuinely asking you. Lids, I have a question for you.
Okay.
How do you personally interpret the term kindred spirits?
I don't know. It feels like there's some debate to be had here. I feel like I'm not. I feel like I'm walking into an ongoing conversation here. I do not have the full context.
So last week, Core hosted RITE NITE, and he said, and so we all know that Volfred and Orlek are considered to be kindred spirits, right?
Okay.
I'm assuming that was kind of established in the game. And
okay.
so I was asking Core, because how we perceive these characters' relationships seems to differ, and so I was asking him, like, what does kindred spirits mean anything to you? And he was like, no, it doesn't mean anything to me. And now he's saying it doesn't mean what I think it means. And so now I'm genuinely curious, Lids, how do you interpret the phrase kindred spirits? Like, what does that imply to you?
Well, I think I agree with Core to the extent that it means that Orlek and Volfred share similar ideals and principles.
Mm-hmm.
I think beyond that, there is some debate as to whether Orlek and Volfred at any point had a relationship. But I think that is not explicitly stated anywhere. That is just interpretation one way or another and can never really be confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that's a fairly popular interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
Why, that was all of them.
Why, that was all of them. Phaler, uses his harp's lute to switch into Ignarius there, or was that Vispalette?
No.
Oh, the classic curse of having the orb right next to the portal. Fortunately, Lilac was still able to recover the orb, but sometimes that doesn't work out so well. Here is Iggy. Oh, but he does not have time to charge up the throw. Obviously, he should have gone for the finger guns approach instead. Objectively, his best move. That's Vispalette, plunging for 30 there. We have seen some boat magic. I know we were distracted a little bit with that discussion, but we did see several demons taken on the boat, and that is oftentimes one of the best recipes for maximizing the boat magic. Although I do think there are some other classes that get a little bit overlooked sometimes on the boat, that also have a lot of potential. Whoa, that was a big Titan Tooth stun.
Merely a glancing blow.
But just a quick throw. Orlek, big leap, claims the orb, retreats, and now prepares for a miraculous feat of boat magic, perhaps. I'm afraid that was quite underwhelming, though. That throw... Oh, I was gonna say it was close. But instead, Phaler just gets the rebound with a plunge there. Does mean he has now lost Ignarius, and with the rekindling, Lilac's first life bar may be gone, but Lilac does still have 50 with the second set. Volfred sidesteps the harp cast. Tizo. Also, for what it's worth, Lilac is functionally using a true Nightwings team at the moment. And it is Tizo, oh my word. Plunging for 25, the extra offensive setup there from the Mastery. Or like, there's a little bit of boat magic. Oh, but not quite enough, though, as Phaler saw it coming. And Phaler able to plunge here, and it's not only 30 damage, he also is getting some leech from that.
The right is nearly
The right is nearly It's just what I was thinking. That is exactly what I was thinking.
The fate prevails.
GG.
They vastly
GG.
outperformed their adversaries.
Well played, you two.
The ceremony is complete.
Well played, you two, and let's head on back now.
Until the stars align.
Let us know, chat, if there's anything we'd like to see for the next one. And I was just gonna say, it has been a little while now that we've had these two in here. So if there is anyone else who would like to get in, it may make sense for us to swap one or both players out in the relatively near future. I know that Anor had expressed interest early on, and now I see Core as well. So maybe in that case, what do we say? And Anor, that still works for you? So what if we go, in that case, with just one more between Lilac and Phaler, and then we could do a double switch and get Core and Anor in here? How does that sound?
Alright.
Works for me.
All right. So in
Shame
that-
I won't be able to play against Core.
Well, as some people were saying earlier, Core is, I suppose, everyone's rival. So he's a wanted man in that regard.
He's a wanted man in the downside.
Frost King. I have not heard that one yet either. Alright, well, it does mean that this will likely be our last matchup between Lilac and Phaler. We did functionally just have a match in which they were able to choose whatever they'd like, but if there is anything we would still like to see between these two, this would be our last chance to set that up. Otherwise, of course, we could opt to have them take whatever they'd like once again.
Hold on, I have 2 requests.
Oh.
Where is it? Hold on.
Now I'm wondering. What could it be?
Don't
Don't read into it too much?
Don't get your hopes up. I'm
Okay.
sorry. Okay, so this one, and now for my actual request.
Titan Stars. I request that your glorious creation be presented briefly before you take your leave, and then customize off. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Let's let me take a quick peek. You said you put it in the voice text or Black Wagon?
Oh, okay.
Or have you not posted it yet?
Okay, I've posted it in Black Wagon now. I was waiting. I didn't want no one is allowed to see it until it is presented properly.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me
And you should
open it up.
probably
I'm gonna have to mute it, because, yeah, otherwise we're gonna get copyrighted music. Okay, so I think in that case, with it muted, hopefully we're alright. Alright, it's just 30-second little video that Lilac has put together here. Does it
Wait,
need,
is
and
it
you talked about it a little
on
bit earlier, does it need any
Wait,
introduction?
Is it on the stream? Are you playing it on
I
the
will,
stream?
yeah. Does it need any
Okay.
introduction before I show
do
it?
you yes, there would be. It would benefit from a little bit of context. So you know how Chewing Dragon, aka the Steam Archer Bash Paws, he came up with a little plot about Gareth and the Stowaway and Elmer, and like Gareth and the Stowaway end up like getting married or something, but then they did get divorced, and the Stowaway is like jobless or homeless or something, and then she goes to a Burger King and Almer is working there, but then it turns out that Almer is now in a relationship with Gareth and that whole thing. So I woke up early one morning, like I woke up earlier than usual one morning, and you know how your brain thinks up funny things when you're like half awake.
Okay.
And so this was the result of that.
Okay. There's the introduction. I do have to mute it, so we'll post the link to it in Discord after the fact, and you guys can get the full experience. But here's the muted version at least.
The full experience.
Oh, hold on. All credit goes to Chewing Dragon. Oh. There we go. Well done. Well done.
I'm sorry. Excuse me. So what do you think?
Well, Archer Bashpaws himself has responded in Discord. I think he can say it better than I ever could.
Oh my god.
There you are.
You've been blessed by pure cinema.
Thank you. And it'll definitely add. It was great already, but it'll definitely add to the effect if you have sound on.
It does. It's very good. Perfect.
Alright. Well, that was our preview, I suppose, to the final match between Lilac and Phaler. This one will be customized off, but if you two are ready, I think we can get this one started. And maybe we will see some of those characters that were just making an appearance in that video. Who knows?
Did you have any thoughts or commentary, Lids?
It was great.
Dissidents shall confront
I was
Anything.
heartbroken when I saw Bay's expression.
I was heartbroken when I saw. Oh wait, hold on. Is there? Oh no, that's Headwind. I was heartbroken when I saw that there were no participating, or no one from that feature film participating in this match.
I'm sorry. Yeah, the guy whose face was, just so you know, the guy whose face was blurred out, that was Gareth.
Okay, I did notice the blur. I was wondering what that was all about.
I mean, you said so yourself that like his stylishness is just too much, and if people were
It's
to
true.
see his face, then it would cause a riot.
It would. Well, I mean, we don't really know what would happen. The downside, as we know it, might just cease to exist.
Do you think he looks like handsome Squidward under that mask?
He might. We don't. Maybe he is handsome Squidward. Honestly, we don't know.
Oh my god. Imagine Pyre AU alternate universe where everything is the same except all of the characters have a handsome Squidward face.
Also, I did notice this previously, but I didn't say anything about it, but it was just significant in that case, so now I have to say something about it. Vorfrit has Can Singularity, and it did help Lilac on that occasion, and it was about to help again! No!
No!
Phaler might have seen it coming and released the throw just in time, because he was about to be dispossessed by the Can Singularity. Rekindling, question mark? I'm afraid not.
GG.
Well, GG. Well played, you two.
their adversaries must be crying
Wait, that was
tears of
Oralek.
shame.
It was Oralek.
Was.
Thus end this night's
No wonder you beat me.
proceedings.
No one can overpower Oralek.
Or Scary Tizo.
That was true.
True. True.
Angry Fluff.
Until the next rite.
Alright, well, with that, if it still works for Core and Anor, I think we might look to do a double switch here. Works on
Alright.
Core's end? Does that work for you as well, Anor? Yep. Alright, well, in that case, GG's, Lilac and Phaler, good to get you both in here.
GG's.
I will free you from Steam Remote Play, but we'll catch you later.
GG's. 'Twas an honor. And hello, Core. And goodbye, Core.
Alright. Let me get Anor and Core into Pyre.
I can't remember the last time I played against Anor. It might actually be something like 4 to 6 months ago.
Once upon a time, this was a classic showdown. But you're right, we've been starved from it for a little bit. For quite some time, really. I feel like there might have been one occasion in the somewhat recent past when we saw this, but that, I think, was really the only time we've had you two play each other for quite a while. Ooh, and we're going with the True Night Wings today. Okay. Mixing it up just a little bit, I see. That's fine. Let me set you guys up here. And we do have a talisman request from Lilac. One moment, let me just switch around these things and then I'll give it a closer look. Okay, whatever talisman you think would smell the worst goes to the exile of your choice. Is it just one talisman that you think smells the worst, or are we talking all three?
No, he says... No, just one, looks like.
As currently phrased, it seems like it's just one talisman. Stream has been a little quiet for you. I can... hold on. Well, muting my microphone, as I very briefly did there, probably wouldn't help.
Lilac, maybe you just need... Maybe it's on your end. You just need to turn up the volume. Have you tried that?
Does it seem a little quiet for anyone else? It's a little hard for me to tell precisely on my end. I mean, I can technically do some things to bump up my volume a little bit. Technically, sound quality would suffer a little. So if it doesn't feel like it's strictly necessary, then it's probably for the best that I don't do that. Let me just check. Oh, hold on. Okay, this is gonna make me slightly louder. Theoretically, I have now made a slight adjustment, which should make me a tiny bit on stream specifically. It won't affect Discord at all, but it might be small enough that it won't matter. Also, it may just depend on the extent to which I'm eating the microphone versus leaning back a little bit away from the microphone. So it's hard to have it be a perfectly controlled experiment. But alas, we have that talisman request for the talisman that the players think smells the worst on whichever exile they think deserves that. But that seems to be it for now. So why don't we get this started? I could see that the microphone is now loud enough you could hear me bite into that strawberry.
The true night wings.
At least a little bit.
Welcome. Who shall conduct the rites?
Does the stinky exile need to be the first pick? Or can they hide in the back? Can be anyone. Doesn't matter where they are or who they are. Just whoever you think is most deserving of having the stinkiest of talismans.
My controller does not work.
Ooh, okay. Let us see. Core, move you around a bit here. I did unplug my controller just before I invited people.
It still does not work.
Well,
Should I unplug?
You know what? Yeah, why don't we do that?
I'll try to unplug. Okay, cool.
Okay. So who will get the and the player should specify, this is the person who I'm giving the stinky talisman, this is the talisman that I think is the stinkiest, right? Don't leave it up to us to guess, which, like, I assume that was not the talisman that Core thought was the stinkiest.
You'd be surprised. Shooting stars?
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But I don't get the impression that that talisman would be particularly stinky, unless you're trying to make a commentary, a meta commentary on the state of competitive Pyre. You're saying, oh, this talisman is so stinky, I wish nobody ever used it. It's too overpowered. Be a different way to approach this request.
That's the stinkiest. It has to be an island leech, right?
I could definitely see that being up there. I think it's a strong contender.
Fungal growth.
It's a fungal growth. It's a strong contender for sure. I think there are a few alternatives, though. That potentially being one of them.
Maybe, but...
Nothing stinky yet, but Core, is that your pick for the stinkiest talisman?
No, I just picked it because it was funny.
I mean, you could have.
No, that's my contender.
Okay, so Core went with the Neeland Leech, which is a fungal growth. And who did you put it on, Core?
I put it on the Messenger Imp, the paper boy.
Oh. I think there are still at least one or two potential alternatives. But it may require reading some of the flavor text to confirm.
It should be some, like, organic thing, I think. It's hard to, like, justify, like, a gem being...
Right. Like, I assume that was not Anor's smelly talisman pick there. Are any of the legendary talismans? Could they be stinky? I don't know. There are several... Anor says, so guys, there are several teeth talismans, which could actually be very stinky, I think.
I mean, not really if it's, like,
I don't know.
old.
Anor may... Yeah. I had no idea that's the
tooth.
direction Anor was about to go in, but I think you could make the case for that. I think the
Okay.
Flame Leech, which Core moused over briefly before, I think you could potentially make a case for that. Prayer beads are dried, I forget some kind of plant that's dry. It's probably not the stinkiest, but it could be somewhat stinky. The mottled flask comes to mind as, you know, who knows how long that's been there for. Some of the legendary talismans, maybe you could make a case for. Does Titan Tooth specifically say it's decaying? Because if so, then okay, that is a pretty strong case. It does say large old decaying tooth. While decidedly unpleasant, oh, Anor makes a very strong case. The flavor text does very strongly support what Anor is going for here.
Yeah, but it's a tooth. The decaying tooth doesn't
Teeth
smell
can
that
get
bad.
really stinky.
They cannot get stinky. I don't even know.
Fun fact, the dirtiest part of the human body is your saliva. And, probably means it can also get the stinkiest. Especially if it's old and decaying. So I don't doubt it. But anyways, this is our first matchup of the day between Core and Anor. And as we were saying, once upon a time, this was a classic showdown. You had to pay extra for this. But we don't see it very often anymore. So we may be in for a bit of a treat here. As Core sneaks in through the portal to set up a 12 damage throw. Right, it specifies that it's a decaying tooth, so I feel like, given how, and it's like, it outright says that it's unpleasant. Quick throw from Barker. Oh, actually, almost full damage there. It seemed like Core had cut that significantly short, but practically full damage there. And there's the Bright Wisp automatically passing the orb when the stowaway goes down, so Hamatha, the recipient. Oh, and then she sacrificed Bertrude using the Harp Salute. But now everyone down. So time for Core doesn't need to cut this throw short. Goes for the full 25 from the sap throw. Hamatha. Titan Tooth swaps in. Oh, except the implosion takes out Bertrude, who was the desired scorer. And even if she doesn't make it in, Anor is still able to get the plunge off with the stowaway, doing her best Gareth impression. Beautiful. And that's true. I mean, we see so few people using the true Nightwings, and even when they do, doesn't necessarily mean that people are using Savages. But now you can understand, if you look at the Stowaway's raiments, this is what Gareth used to look like from the onset, before we did all of the... Gareth used to always look that way, before we had the whole mods that changed people's raiment colors to match the Triumvirate. So look at the Stowaway here, and you understand how Gareth came to be the most stylish man on the downside. Oh, and that was interesting exchange there. Core somehow able to get that throw off. Hamatha does it herself, plunging for 20 here. Now she had the Titan Tooth, so she will be gone for the entirety of this round. Bertrude almost able to make it in, but the Stowaway has not yet returned, so that means time for Core here. And that sapling is in a very inconvenient location for Anor, but eventually does manage to get it with Bertrude, and does manage to plunge here for 30 damage, and suddenly this is a one-score game for Anor, and it could even be... Oh, no, Core does not have enough damage to finish this in one go. Of course, Core does have a sap, and therefore may have some rekindling. So Anor might be a little further away than it would first seem, making this pretty close to functionally a tie match here. Oh, except there is no rekindling. A black magic jump from the stylish Stowaway. What better way to finish the rite?
Put up quite an effort.
Good game.
Yeah, I mean, the Stowaway is doing her best Gareth impression here, as you can see. It's beautiful, those raiment colors.
Until the next rite.
GG, well played, you two. So that was the Stinky Talisman request from Lilac, and let us know if there's anything we'd like to see for the next one. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Can't retroactively ask those kinds of questions. You need to establish that from the onset. None of this retconning nonsense. My apologies. Is it out the stock? I don't think I put any limits on it, did I? I don't remember that being a thing. I think it should still be usable. Is it not? I can double check. I mean, I know we've used it a few times today, but not very recently. Let me see. It says out of stock, jetpack later. Frost King is able to do it. Let me just double check real quick. So we do have a customized off from Frost King, but you have piqued my interest. Now, I would like to confirm how I set that up. Did I put a limit per person? Did I say a given person can only do it a certain amount of times? Let me just track it down real quick. Customize off. Oh, okay. Customize off has a 10-minute cooldown. So Anor, you must have just missed. It must have been extremely close to coming off of cooldown right as you were saying all this, and then Frosting comes in and probably swooped in at the exact moment when it came off cooldown. Frosting is like, I don't understand, there's no problem here. Frosting doesn't even realize, probably activated it the exact second that it came off cooldown. Okay, let me just double check, but I don't think there's any limit on the number of times it gets redeemed overall across the stream or per person. No, it is just the 10-minute cooldown, so it was just that Frost King was perfectly timed with that request. Well done, Frost King. Alright, well, in that case, we will have customize off one way or another. Okay. So randomized exiles, masteries, and talismans. Could do an arena, could do a song. Otherwise, we have basically everything accounted for here. Oh, as I slam my elbow. Will of the... You know, Frost King? That's fitting. It was indeed the will of the scribes. Alright, let us get started then.
The Pyre Hearts shall
Oh.
take on...
Pretty sure this is a random boat, is it not? I'm pretty sure this is a random boat. We end up with 2 nomads and a sap on Kor's side, a nomad, a harp, and an imp on Anor's side. Oh, and Kor not quite quick enough on that throw. And we get Snadra in the almost most stylish raiments in the downside, the Nomad True Nightwing color scheme. Not quite the same as the Savage True Nightwing color scheme. Also, Snadra, fun fact, particularly noticeable with these raiments, she has more transparency with her raiments than anyone else does because she's a ghost. So she looks different than the other nomads for that reason. Lendl, cornered. Boat magic and Frost King channeled the will of the scribes, and maybe it was a bit of boat magic that was the source of his power as well. Ooh, a little bit of boat magic there for Lendl. Not quite enough to get him in there, but nearly did the trick. Hamatha can't make it through. Ulfred to Lendl, or rather to Hedwyn. And now just Volfred here for Kor. And Or scoops up the orb right next to Kor's Pyre and quickly able to plunge there for 20. But it was a plunge, and with no prayer beads, it means there's now no Pamitha in this round for Anor. So it's down to Snadra and Raji. Raji's hanging out next to the Pyre. Blocked right next to the Pyre, but now it sets a portal right next to the Pyre, except Kor cancels that out by plunging in here for 20 with Lendl. But no prayer beads for Lendl, so now he's out for this round. Oh, and that's a Luminous Idol Pamitha, which should have been clear from the onset, but that's a very solid setup for a harp. Of course, Anor had no control over that with Customize off, but it is a pleasant surprise, one would have to think. We were all distracted by the raiments. Understandably so, but still.
No sign of the Pyre Hearts for now.
And now, uncontested opportunity for a 20 damage harp throw for Anor. Pamitha once again, and there's the Luminous Idol. And nearly enough to help Pamitha get all the way in there, but banished just shy of the target. And that really looked like Kor had 2 exiles moving simultaneously there. I think in large part because of the boat magic, but that was very off-putting. I swear there were 2 Pyreheart players moving at the same time there. Kor now with Volfred, playing it patiently, maybe waiting for one or both of those nomads to make their return. Now that they have, he moves in with Lendl. Has that team shield as well, with shoulder smash, no less. And that is actually a setup we will see people use sometimes of their own accord, without Customize off.
Alas for Lendl.
For the somewhat rare offensive nomad play. I think usually you would see just one nomad in that circumstance, but having a second nomad probably isn't the worst thing if Kor is to take that approach. But Anor has intercepted the throw and nearly took the portal straight into the opposing Pyre for a lightning fast counterattack. But Kor, with it back now, is now using exactly the strategy I was just describing, and with Living Flame, actually gets some bonus damage there. 28 from that plunge. Tells us a little bit more as well about what Hedwyn has setup-wise. Pamitha loops around and in. Plunging for 20 here. But again, with no prayer beads, means no Pamitha in this round. But that is the strategy. It's a big, lofty, slow jump for the Nomads, which gives time for Kor to switch over to his sap and apply the shield, so that by the time the Nomad lands, they have that shield and can potentially banish the would-be defender. But with that score, Core takes the win.
Most
GG.
excellently done
Good game.
this time, I must admit.
Well played, you two.
Thus end this night's proceedings
All right, let's head on back.
until the stars align.
And let us know, chat, if there is anything we would like to see for the next one. As that was customized off, and yeah, random boat. The boat was also the will of the scribes.
Can I request that the players pick?
Well, I'd be fairly certain that customize off is on cooldown right now, so probably safe from that. And if we don't have any other requests, then we could have the players pick, or of course, if you wanted to, you could select Exiles, Masteries, and Talismans and say just...
But that takes so much work. I can't tell you.
Alright, well, at least not immediately seeing any other requests, so maybe we can leave this one up to the players then.
You have to understand, Lids, that when you ask people to give requests, they feel the urge to give requests. So,
That's kind of the whole idea behind it.
well,
Yeah.
no, you should allow requests, but you shouldn't, like, you know,
Welcome.
say, give me requests, and then they have to think up something, and then we have to, like, interpret it, you know? It's just a whole shebang, you know what I mean?
Well, now Core does have the chance to choose whatever setup he would like, and he starts with Snadra. So one would think he has something in particular in mind, given how he really wanted the option to set up his own team here.
Volfred.
And Honor goes Nutrition Stick, Volfred. Core goes Typhoon Bottle on Volfred. Now a Titan Tooth Pamatha for Honor. See, like, look at this. The second Nomad on the Pyre Hearts looks very similar to the raiment colors for the True Nightwings, and as you can plainly see, that is objectively the best color scheme.
Messenger Imp.
And it'll be a second sap, a quick throwing Palmas
Good. Begin.
for Honor. Here is Palmas. Over to Pamatha. And with that Titan Tooth, able to stun the opposition and set up with that Harp Salute, a quick throw from Palmas. Perhaps a good demonstration of what strategy Honor is looking to use in this match. But now it's Core. It's Snadra, and looks like the shield on the Nomad, which was very similar to the setup that we saw Core randomly end up with in the Customize Off match last time round. Though this time, rather than having two Nomads, he obviously also has an Imp, as demonstrated with this plunge here for 25, an offensive Imp at that. Ooh, and there's the Nutrition Stick. An extra blinking distance from Honor, except not as quick on the throw with the Nutrition Stick sap, so just 14 on that occasion. Pamitha, though, elusive, gets the Titan Tooth stun, swaps in, and a little confusing as to what exactly the end result of that exchange was, but now Core defenseless, at least until Messenger Imp makes his return, and might have been the briefest of windows there for Nor to get in for a score. Core now, on the other end, trying to get it in with his Imp, and as we established, that is a high damage Imp, which has now created a very dangerous portal, which Core jumps through with Snadra for 20 damage, and I believe that was 10 leech as well. Using Snadra's mastery on the left side of the tree. There's once again the stun from the Titan Tooth on Pamitha, then the Harp Salute to switch into one of the saps. And if it's Palmas, that is to set up a throw. It might still be to set up a throw if it's Volfred on the receiving end, although he does not have the quick throws with Talisman support. It's a little trickier in that case. But now no Pamitha in this round. A little more room for Core to maneuver, and Anor lacking the mobility and the setup that she had from Pamitha, which, as we've seen, has been a pretty crucial component, at least offensively, to her strategy thus far. Although, laying siege to Core's Pyre right now with those saps and saplings right on top, and able to plunge for 25. That time with Volfred, that was the Nutrition Stick sap. So that technically is more so his specialty, the movement. Whereas Palmas here is the throwing one, although he does go down. The orb bounces out of the arena, which probably does Anor a favor to buying her a little more time to get Pamitha and eventually Palmas back from banishment. Titan Tooth. Palmas has returned. Oh, but he does go down there. And Core has a portal nearby for Snadra to exploit. Again, 20 damage plunge, and I believe 10 leech, which functionally makes this a tie game. Anor close range sap throw, again with the slower throwing sap though, so just partial damage there. And that partial damage is pretty significant because at 27 Pyre Life, it means Anor does not have enough damage to finish this with one score, but now with that, it means Anor is in range with any of her exiles, although I'm fairly certain I saw Core take at least some rekindling. It's at least 10, it might have even been 50. So I believe we will see a second life bar for Core. Anor has 2 saps, you'd have to imagine she has at least some rekindling as well. Although Core does not have enough damage to see that rekindling from just 1 score. He would need at least 2. So functionally, Anor 1 score ahead of Core at this stage. And Anor may actually have more rekindling, what with the double sap setup. That's all a little preliminary at this point. Still plenty of time for either player to get in for a score or 2. An exchange of banishments there. In fact, Anor momentarily defenseless. And Core did have a portal, except I'm pretty sure Anor had that auto sapling placed right on top of where the portal was, and Core may not have been ready for that. It is possible to avoid it if you jump through the portal, but it may not have been on Core's radar. Core with Messenger Imp. Oh, Anor did just enough to intercept that. Wasn't sure if she was going to have the right angle or not. Here is Volfred with the extra blinking distance, but again, the slower throw, not quite enough time to get it off. Anor doesn't need a full damage throw here, but now it's Core. Again, it's Snadra doing the plunging, and at this point, now, yes, we see there is Leech. Core is 1 score away from seeing how much rekindling Anor has, and at this point, Anor would need just about full damage from a sap. Pamitha actually would not have enough damage to trigger the rekindling, but that was off the mark for Anor, but 25 damage from a sap throw, that's exactly what she would have liked to have seen. Pamitha switches in to Volfred. Again, it's the slow throw, and that is significant because it's not quite enough damage. Volfred did not have enough time to get up to 24 there, so Core holds on. Again, I do believe he has at least a little bit of rekindling here. It's 10, as we now see. But after that plunge, Anor now does not have Pamitha. But 1 score would be sufficient from Anor from basically anyone, whereas Anor is still on her first life bar. So again, with 2 saps, we suspect Anor would have at least 10, if not potentially fair bit more of that when it comes to rekindling. But Core, looking to prove just how much rekindling that might be with one more score here. Any of his exiles would have enough, assuming that it is at least a nearly full damage throw. Did that just not create a portal? Because Core did implode his imp right on top of Anor's Pyre, but Anor, with the throw, says, I don't care about that portal, because with that score, I will take the win. And GG.
The portal didn't create because of Triesta. Sometimes when you implode, I think after like vanishing in like the environment, then it treats it as an environment explosion, so it just won't create portals for that round. Or you have to like die by the thing again.
Mm-hmm. I vaguely recall this happening in the past, yeah. Alright, well that one was all up to the players setup-wise, and we had a fairly sap-centric showdown. But let us know if there's anything we would like to see for the next one. If not, then of course we could always, once again, leave it up to the players to go with whatever they'd like. It's always an option. Not immediately seeing anything, though, so in fact that may even prove to be the option that we end up going with here. Alright, let's do it.
The Pyre hearts shall now face the true night.
And this time, what might be our first match
Who shall conduct the rites?
at the Pit of Malith. Fun Arena does have pretty significant meme potential. Second only to the boat in that regard, I would say. Core leads off with a worm. Of course, the difference, one of the main differences in that way, is that the boat, you're gonna get some boat magic pretty much no matter what. Of course, you can always go out of your way to try to maximize the amount of boat magic, but it's pretty much inevitable that you're going to get at least some. Whereas with the pit, I think the meme aspect is a lot more determined on whether the players choose to pursue it, because if they don't, then it could very well just end up to be a quote-unquote normal match. So a little more variance in that way, or at least it depends much more on the approach that the players choose to take, as Core goes for a Nomad with his second selection. Oh no. Should have read that? Core setup?
What? What are you talking about? You don't know anything about my setup. I don't know what you're going on about.
It's the combination that no one has seen before.
No, I'm not. Yeah,
The Core has no idea what you're
you
talking
need to pay
about.
attention to the details, okay? Pay attention to the details, because I'm not going bottom void if that's what you think.
Choose someone.
Ooh, some trash talk from Lilac as well.
Alright, yeah, Lilac. Throw hands, we can do it outside after.
Spitting bars, Lilac says. Alright, well, Anor seems to suggest that there was some sort of setup that it appeared Core was working toward. Core denies this. But will we be able to tell something from his final selection here to Speedy Ignarius? You, me, outside Burger King. Well, slow down, slow down. We don't need to bring Burger King into this. Not even Burger King, Brugger King. We don't need to bring Brugger King into this. Brugger King, home of the Brugers. In your lore, Brugers are like tiny Rons, baby Ron minions. Oh dear. Alright, well this rite begins. As for what exactly Core is looking to set up, and as for whether Honor thinks she is equipped to handle it, that remains to be seen, but Honor able to stun Core with the Titan Tooth, and that sets up a relatively uncontested 15 damage imp throw there from Tizo. Core, though, does have some wall bouncing shenanigans with that, and that is what I was alluding to before when it came to the whole memery discussion. Whether that wall bouncing be with the exiles themselves or with the orb.
Well,
I dare say that may vary from one player to the next, and again, depends a lot on how much the players choose to pursue that, because for the most part, if you don't want to do it, you can just ignore that aspect altogether. But it is certainly possible to earn some additional style points, if nothing else, by bouncing off some of the walls in one way or another. That was actually a very close range sap throw, and from close ranges, sap throws are usually unblockable. So I'm actually fairly surprised that Core was able to intercept, but perhaps the game was intervening there and saying, Honor, how dare you just go for a straight-up score and not wall bounce at all? Uncontested opportunity. Tisk tisk. Where is the wall bouncing? When you need it most. There's a little bit more wall bouncing. There we go. That's what we're looking for. Pamitha bounces off a couple walls and finds her way into the pyre. Coincidence? I think not. Oh, that was very strange. Gilman seemingly bounced off the wall several times in quick succession there, as if he were stuck. Nothing really came of it, but it was a lot of bounces in a very short amount of time, as Core is defenseless, at least for the moment, till Snadra makes her return, and there's the wall bouncing throw. Okay. That's more like it. That's what we came here to see. Oh, and the shoulder smash from Snadra, though. Here to spoil the day for Nor.
Get out, Tizo.
Gilman, down to the sapling. Honor, through the portal. Little bit of wall bouncing. Okay, we'll accept that. We'll accept that. It does mean we are tied at exactly 55 apiece here. This time, Honor is the only one with a sap, and therefore maybe the only one with rekindling, although I don't recall as to whether she took any or not. Of course, now Core, though, with that 30 damage throw, has now taken the lead. Gilman, in particular, has just been doing these crazy wall bounces. You know what it is? It's the Titan Tooth. Because when Titan Tooth stuns exiles, it sends them flying particularly far. So he's bounced off multiple walls at times from that Titan Tooth stun. That must be it. Honor looking to stall, as after that plunge with Pamitha, she's not coming back, and Volfred still needs a little more time. And there is the rekindling. Core has time to throw it in, and so we now see it is 50 life on the second life bar for Honor, so it is very significant in that case, but with that throw, we are now once again just about tied.
Now go.
Tizo. Back to Pamitha. Pamitha now against Iggy. And Core frozen, despite having gotten the stop there. Now recovering with Snadra. She goes down. But with the Sacred Bond, Core also able to bring back his exiles more quickly. Iggy stunned with the Titan Tooth. Nor with a little bit of a window here. Snadra back defensively though. Oh, but the harp push. Smart move there. Knowing that Snadra was going to be able to shoulder smash if Pamitha went for the flying maneuver. Why not push? I feel like the harp push, once A classic, fundamental strategy, so powerful. Feels like it's been overlooked. We just don't see it very often nowadays. Not that it's been forgotten, but
Now then,
at times it feels like we've come close to that. Oh, and the portal right next to Core's Pyre, and Anor with just enough damage from Tizo
true night
to take the win.
Game.
It's such
GG.
a well-conducted victory it was.
Well played, you two.
The rite is complete.
All right, well, let's head on back.
Until the next rite.
And let us know, chat, if there is anything we would like to see for the next one. As we've had a couple ones now, I think, where it's been all up to the players here. There is a Ron emoji! It's the tier 3 emoji! It's the ultimate emoji! It's King Ron! He's top dog! And deservedly so! Unfortunately, yeah, most people don't have the tier 3 emoji, but no, of course we have a Falcon Ron emote. Yeah, yet. Couldn't pass up on Falcon Ron emoji. Come on now. Alright, well, let us know if there is anything we would like to see for the next match. I mean, to be fair, we've had the players pick the teams for the previous 2 matches, and they've both been good matches, so maybe chat is saying, you know what? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Maybe that's the secret.
Except as soon as I say this, Lilac comes in and turns Customize off. It's off cooldown. So we are back to randomized teams now. Could still do an arena, could still do a song if either of those are of interest, but otherwise, we have... Oh! Wait. There will be a song request coming from Anor. Path to Glory is the selection. All right. I almost started going with the next line, but I didn't. But yes, Lilac, that was the direction I was going in. I wasn't sure if one word was going to be enough for people to know. Yes, that was what I was going for. Alright. Well, Path to Glory is the song. I mean, given that it would be one thing if someone just said, wait. But given that it was a song request, and the only word that you provided was wait, I had to do it, right? Alright. So, of course. Unless we have an arena, though, it looks like we might be all set here. I mean, also that. True. But I was being funny. Oh, no! That's not correct! It's Wake Me Up, Failer!
The Pyre Hearts.
Get your evanescence right!
The true Nightwings.
Alright, well here is a customized off match between Core and Anor, and it is the Stowaway, it is Udmilda, and it is Vizpoleth for Core, so Savage, Crone, and Demon. For Anor, it is Imp, Savage, and Demon, so actually somewhat similar setups here. Except Anor has a crazy amount of starting Pyre life. Must have been a combination of the Talisman for that and also the Mastery from Iggy. So even after that 30 damage score, she still had 135 here. So we know a little bit about Anor's team in that way. As for what else, well, we know that Core's team is currently 100% banished.
A devious maneuver.
And we once again have the super stylish Stowaway, donning the Gareth attire. The OG Gareth attire. Here is the Stowaway / Gareth.
Tay, douse the flame.
Hamilton. Apparently, there's just a bunch of songs that have the word "wait" in them. I mean, I suppose it's sort of common enough word that it makes sense, but still. Oh, and extra offensive power. 25 damage on that Messenger Imp plunge for Anor. Pleasant surprise in that regard. Stowaway rushes down for the banishment, but now all by herself here. Doesn't matter, though, as she employs the super stylish Gareth skills. And with that means one score might be all that Anor needs here. And I think Anor got some leech somewhere along the way. I didn't catch where from, but she's back up at 148 Pyre life. Somebody got some Pyre life back for her. The core now throws in for 20. Now just Messenger Imp for Anor. Stalls. Stuns. Gets Gareth-ish back. But core throws this one in for 11. Stowaway takes out the Stowaway. Messenger Imp. We know, actually, Anor has enough damage with any of her exiles here. Given the extra damage on Messenger Imp, doesn't even need to be full damage on any of the exiles. Could be a partial damage throw. Messenger Imp. Blocked. But gets rid of the defender, and now Messenger Imp plunges in for the win.
True Nightwings prevail. Their pyre yet burns with vigor and resolve.
GG.
The rite is ended.
Well played, you two. I also am a little surprised that Nightbot tried to stop you from saying that, but...
Until the stars align.
Alright, let us know, chat, if there is anything we would like for the next one here. Apparently, right? What did I know? So is there anything else we'd like for this one? Or, of course, we could always go back to having the players select their preferred teams. Apparently not a fan of Lin-Manuel Miranda, that's true. Apparently. I feel like we're... this is all leading up toward this next rite being Hamilton themed. I feel like we're headed in that direction. I don't know, does anyone want to select the arena where it happens?
Hey Liz, I think we can start now.
Of course, like I've had enough of this. Please make it stop. Okay, Frost King comes in with the talisman request unrelated to the whole Hamilton discussion, or at least it seems.
I hate you so much.
Whatever talisman Core thinks is the worst.
Yeah, I think it's for both of us. The worst.
Yeah, does that mean for Anor, she's picking the one that she thinks is the worst, or is Core picking for both of them?
No, I'm picking for both. I think it's either one of the cursed ones or it's like Frozen Soul.
I mean, once upon a time, we had a whole bunch of people make tier lists for talismans, and it was pretty common that we saw Can Singularity at the very bottom. Perhaps in the tier by itself, ahead or below all of the cursed talismans even. Now, of course, times have changed since then, but I'm just saying, there was a time when that was, if not the consensus, at least the popular opinion. Really, Frost King? Are songs up? I don't remember if we had a cooldown for songs. Do I still have the other page up? Can I quickly check? Let me see. Does song have a cooldown?
I mean, the only other thing is I'm trying to think of like talismans that literally don't do anything, like Inferno Bloom on Worm, things like that, where it's like, or like Vengeful Vow and Savage. Those are the only things where like it's actually just does nothing. But I guess the question is there a detriment? Which cursed talismans could be a detriment, but I don't know. What is it? Black Claws mostly pretty bad.
Is that the no casting one?
Yeah, the no casting one.
Maybe you put that on a demon. You can make it work on a demon.
Yeah, but the problem is at some point you need to jump, and when you jump, you get rid of it all.
Yeah, but there are. I mean, not that it's ideal to build around putting that on a demon, but it is possible, and there are a few other methods you can use to enable the demon a little bit more, to the point where it's not objectively bad. It does require a fair bit of dedication.
Best on like imp or something. Okay, well we can start now.
Okay. Core's like, please, before anyone requests anything else.
Oh my.
Oh, hold on.
I hate everything.
There is a 10-minute cooldown on the song as well. I double checked, so that was probably why you couldn't do it. But Honora has found a workaround.
The Pyre hearts shall confront the true.
I mean, I guess it's probably it's either like Kneeling Leech or Frozen Soul. Which one's like worse?
Who shall
Let's see.
It's either this or like Frozen Soul. I think I can't think of anything else that's worse.
Frozen Soul.
There's like a ring, one ring.
One ring.
But even one
does
ring
not
I think
rule
is
them
better.
all.
But one ring is, I think, we'll go Nyland Leech. It's Nyland Leech time.
It depends. Like, are you trying to make the bad talisman as bad as possible, or are you trying to do everything you can to enable it? Because there are some characters you can put the leech on, and it feels...
Oh, we have to do our worst characters. Okay, that's right. Is Harp my worst character? I actually don't know what my worst character is. What is my worst characters, chat? What are my worst characters? Yeah, what are my worst class?
Was that, honestly, was that a request as well?
No,
If so, I did not see it.
Like, I know what.
Oh, yeah.
I know what it's talking about. I just don't know which ones it is. I can maybe go Savage, but I don't think that's my worst. But I don't really know.
just choose?
I don't know. Maybe.
Should we reset?
No, it's fine. It's fine. I think Harp is. I mean, unless you disagree, but I don't know. I think Harp is fine. I'll just keep the Harp. I can go Savage maybe next. It's definitely not like Worm, Sap. Oh man.
Cannot use... Oh, did I tab out? I might have tabbed out. What about now?
Oh, I'm controlling her now.
Oh, what?
Okay, let's pick her worst.
Nor, oh no.
What do you want, Anor?
What did I do to deserve this?
You request dread design. Now you're gonna dread it.
Sir Gilman.
I'm curious if Nor now controls
Okay.
Core's team.
No, this is me.
Core against Core, incoming.
Worst class. Worst class.
It's out of my control.
I don't know.
Bertrude.
No! Is this Core again, or is Nor able to control now?
It's her. It was not me.
Yeah, I don't know what did that in the first place.
Yeah, I feel like I'm pretty versatile in all the classes.
Pyre, just let Core pick the worm for you. Uh-oh, that's it. Wait, was the Exiles request all of your worst classes, or was it just one?
Your 3 worst classes. Pick your 3 worst classes.
Oh, can singularity on Rookie. Interesting.
You think Savage, really? Savage.
Let's see, Crone and Harp.
Tay.
Does go with the stowaway though.
I could freaking false step with against Worm Cur.
Okay, the legendary Bertrude. So here we go with what Core thinks is the worst talisman, the Neeland Leech, and then for both players, and both players taking what they think their 3 worst classes are in addition to that.
Glorious.
Cool. Launching here for 20 with the well, would have been 20 with the stowaway, but with Stubborn Flame active, reduces that down to just 10 damage.
Poor Rookie.
Lucky break. Final void, so.
I mean, yeah, it is maybe not the way that Core has used.
Oh, Mine Island
the-
Leech works there.
Oh!
It did something. It actually did something.
Well, we were saying how Can Singularity at one point in time people were saying was one of the worst talismans. Core then popularized a particular strategy, which is not the one that Anor is using here for the Can Singularity, but it can work on the quick respawning Curs as well, as Core throws this one in.
Yes.
So we have some unconventional approaches. A few of them. Ametha switches in to Bertrude, who plunges for 20 here.
The orb is up.
Beautiful. Banished. Or now, Ametha,
Bask in
and the stowaway. Stubborn Flame, again reducing the damage such that Core only deals 10, and that was the only exile Core had, with sufficient damage that means, but he found the one to get the job
Their
done.
adversaries did not even come close.
Good game.
GG.
The rite is done.
Well played, you two. Let's head on back.
I rigged the game. How did I rig the game? Explain it to me.
Core's
you
least...
Worm first?
The one that Core thought was the worst talisman was secretly one that he had a
This match
secret plan
specifically?
for all along.
Well, how did I rig this match specifically?
The Neeland Leech was planted there.
Yeah, I picked your Worm for you. Yeah, were you not gonna pick Worm? Were you not gonna pick Worm? I picked what it was. I guess I picked the masteries and stuff. That's okay. It's okay. Everything's fine.
Everything is fine, says Core. Alright, well, it is starting to get a little late, so what I'm thinking is this will probably end up being our second to last rite, our penultimate rite, meaning the last one in which we take any requests before the liberation rite. So if there is anything else that we would still like to see before we go into the liberation rite, this would be our last chance to make that happen. So is there anything we still want to go for here before the night is through? If not, of course, we could still leave it up to the players to go with whatever they want. That is still an option, but this would be our last chance for least favorite characters, says Lilac. So not necessarily the ones you think you're worst with, but your least favorite.
But characters, like, not classes.
Right, so going more into the specific aspects of the character's personality and role in the plot and all that. Anything else? The Herald for the song request. There we are. Can't even be bothered to spell his name correctly. That's how bad he is, according to Lilac. And then 2 masteries. Okay, so we're spicing this up a bit now. Looks like that might be all, though. So why don't we get this one started then? Two masteries. Oh, I guess to clarify, are we talking 2 masteries per exile or 2 in total? That you could potentially split across 2 different exiles. I assumed that was 2 masteries per character.
Hey, Lilac, you requested this, by the way.
In total, 2 masteries in total. Okay, so for what
Wait, 2
it's
masteries
worth,
in total?
Technically speaking, that means Core has just used all of his masteries on Oralek.
That's really bad. That's like really bad. But, okay.
Maybe this is this is the karma for Core having chosen Honor's first exile for her last time
but the
round.
game already started. You can't just request 2 total after the game already started.
We already had the request for 2 masteries. It was just a matter of clarifying. Are we talking 2 per character or 2 across the entire team? Maybe it was not the answer we expected, but...
No, Orlac's not bad. He's my least favorite. He's one of my least favorite characters.
Oh, also, important clarifying question with regard to Lilac's request. Are we going in order? Like, is it any 3 of your least favorite characters, or are we talking, you know, this is my 3rd least favorite, my 2nd least favorite, my least favorite, in order? Lilac says yes, should be in order.
In order.
So does that mean the first choice is your least favorite or your 3rd least favorite?
No,
Like, are we saving the least favorite for last, or does the least favorite come first? 3rd least is first. Okay.
Wait, 3rd least is first. Okay, can we just ignore it? Because it's too much to figure out.
Core's having a little bit of a rough time with this one. It's
I'm
okay,
having a
Core.
rough
It's gonna be alright.
Okay.
You have 2 masteries total for your entire team. So if you want to use 2 on Manly, you can, but that means you won't have any masteries for anyone else. You can always, you can reset the masteries if you want.
Total. But if you reset, I think she has to pick.
Oh, true! It's gonna force you to use 2! Wait,
can we just do 2 for all exiles?
Okay, wait, you need to know that when I was testing out us adding the scribe snuffs, with a mod, and I think it was with Phaler, and he gave me the mod to do it. I was testing it out, and I specifically described this exact situation to Phaler, and I said there is a circumstance in which, even with using the scribe stuff, people would not want to allocate all of their masteries, even though it's going to force them to do all of them. And Phaler goes, don't worry about it. That's almost never going to happen. It'll be fine. The fact that situation has in fact arisen on this occasion, I just have to note.
Can we do 4? Let's do 2 each. It's fine. G2 8 each.
I'm pretty sure it was Phaler. It might have been I wrote her, but I think it was Phaler. Well, it seems like for both players, you will in fact be locked into. It won't even let you switch characters now, will it?
No, you can't.
What if you look at Core's team? If you look at Core's team, can you break out of this cycle? Can you escape now?
Oh, the tech!
Oh!
The tech!
Look at that!
Oh, holy.
The secret strat revealed.
Phaler knew.
The tech indeed. So now, Honor, if you would like to use both masteries on Manly, you can.
Here's the thing, I don't see the 2 total skills requests because I blocked Yakety. So I don't see any of Yakety's messages. So I totally don't see that Yakety paid 100 to choose player skills and said 2 total.
Right? Lilac. That also means you can't see Lilac who said, "You what?"
Okay, so we're doing 2 each, right? Agreed?
No. No.
She went 2. She agreed.
Well, no, that just means she chose to use all of her masteries on the first exile. That's perfectly alright. That is still allowed.
Now, my next least favorite is this guy. Real. Let's go.
Maybe a bait and switch. So of course it'll be interesting to see if any of the players have any hot takes. Perhaps to some, you might argue we've already seen 1 or 2. But we used to see these kinds of requests a lot more often with the whole, favorite this or least favorite that or most likely to do this or least likely to do that. And it, it did at times spark some debate in chat. So if, for example, Honor were to take Deluge here, Lilac agrees. Whoa, Core with some harsh words. Then Tamitha. So for what it's worth, this was also supposedly in order, meaning that Tamitha is theoretically Core's least favorite character. Now this would be Honor's
I thought it was
favorite.
the other way.
No.
That's what I'm talking about.
You watch yourself, Honor.
It's too much.
You watch yourself, Honor.
It's too much to think about and plan.
Oh, that's funny. How did that happen?
Let her pick Gareth. You can't ask us to display our least favorite characters and then be mad when we do.
Is Anor just trying to rage bait me?
Was it working?
I don't know. I wonder who pressed the escape button.
Can she not move? Oh, it's me now.
Wait, what?
It's me.
Is it actually?
I'm Anor now.
I'm
What do you
Captain
want, Anor?
now.
Do you want this one or do you want the other one?
Oh,
What talisman you
wow.
want?
The plot thickens.
What talisman you want, Anor? I'm here to help. It's us versus them.
Now Anor is trying to negotiate. Unmilda with Typhoon Bottle, she says.
Okay.
Right, well, that took some unexpected twists and turns, but alas, now we are here with the 3 least favorite characters for both players, and 2 masteries total across their entire team. There are some who may disagree with their selections, but this is what they ended up with. And with the limited masteries, of course, that does make it a little more challenging. But Core gets us started with a 25 damage plunge.
There. Why, that was all of them.
And in fact, with everyone banished, Core now slowed, but still able to plunge in here for 20.
The orb is taken.
And over with Udmilda. Fakes one way, goes the other, then gives it up to Manly. Oh, but Core was not faked out. Orlek blocked. Blocked again. Nor recovers and almost able to shield that one off. But Core, loses the orb, inadvertently bounces off of Core's Pyre, but still perhaps time for Anor to land that unblockable 25 damage crone throw. Time now for Manly, perhaps. Not quite. Can't get the throw off in time. Orlek, there's a strange way in which he jumped there. But he gets the throw in here, and that drops Anor down to 5 Pyre life, and she does have a sap, so she may have rekindling, but if not, then of course 1 score is all that Core needs here. Manly to Deluge. Deluge, unblockable throw, lands for 15. Udmilda. Deluge down. Udmilda against Orlek. Orlek gets the orb here, but gets banished as well. Manly one side, Udmilda the other. Core retrieves and plunges and wins.
The Pyre Hawks prevail.
GG.
A rite conducted with aplomb.
Orlek good, confirmed.
Thus end this night's proceedings.
Well played, you two. Always likely to be a controversial match, as we saw players take those least favorite exiles, and was unlikely that we were to agree with all of their selections, but alas, it is done. Core, I don't know if you could see this, if you did truly block Lilac, but, well, the fact that you just responded to Lilac suggests that you probably can, and maybe you did not actually block Lilac after all. See, if you had truly blocked Lilac, you wouldn't have responded at all. Right? I mean, technically, he could potentially see on the stream itself Lilac's message, but I don't know. I'm starting to doubt. That Core actually blocked Lilac. Because I'm special, he says. Well, speaking of special, I think it is time for our final rite of the night, our liberation rite. No requests from chat for this one. Both players just taking their preferred teams to finish things off in style. We will set ourselves back to 4 masteries. Sermon intro on, and we'll go, let's see. True Nightwings probably means we ought to go the Nightwings Never to Return, right? Maybe we could go Old Never to Return, but technically, in the campaign, this is when you hear the Nightwings Never to Return edition. So, probably makes sense to go that route. Oh yeah, he also not just responded to your message, he formally replied. So, he directly replied to it. So I think you're onto something there, Ari. Alright, well, I think we are ready to wrap things up with our final run of the night, so, without further ado, let us begin.
Good evening, exiles. You are gathered at the fall of Solium. Here you shall be tested by your adversary. Know that the scribes themselves are watching. Pyre hearts, stand prepared. True Nightwing, stand prepared. Now we shall get started.
Alright, so as we said, this will be our final rite of the night, our liberation rite, so no requests from chat for this one. Both players just taking their preferred teams to finish things off in style. Perhaps the opposite of what we just saw, with the least favorite characters, although that was for plot reasons, and this, more so, would be preferred players for gameplay reasons, as Core goes with Prayer Beads on Zoxiana for his lead. We haven't seen much of the fall of Solium today, maybe just one match a fair bit ago. So somewhat unfamiliar territory. As Nor goes for a very similar setup, Prayer Beads on Pamitha for her lead. A Leeching Birchroot in the second spot for Core. Nor will go with Nutrition Stick on Volfred.
Well,
Core's final choice will be a Leeching Messenger Imp. And Anor will go Webbed Lanthorn Tizo. Alright, so here we go, our final Rite of the Night. Core on the left representing the Pyre Hearts, and Anor on the right representing the True Nightwings. Best of luck to you both.
Taken. A stifled effort. Absolution. Now to the flame. The orb is up. Exactly by the book. Aha!
And there it is.
True Nightwings proved their worth.
GG.
They
Good game.
surpassed their adversaries in the end.
Well played, you two.
Thus ends the liberation rite.
And as we were saying, that was our final rite of the night, our liberation rite. So thank you everybody who participated in the rites today, and everybody who gave us the requests in chat as well. With that being said, I'm gonna hop out of Discord, but I will catch you guys next time. And let me free them from remote play. I think they both just fled the scene of the crime, though. Looks like we're good in that regard. Let me just, in that case, throw this screen on, and as we were saying, that was our final rite of the night, our liberation rite. So thank you everybody who participated in the rites today, and everybody gave us the requests in chat as well. Lots of good games today. This was, of course, Pyre Community Rite Night, and if you're interested in getting more involved in multiplayer Pyre, then the best way to do so is by joining the Rite Club Discord server, which you can do by clicking on that link right there. My name is Lids. I'm hosting these Rite Nights, and my streaming schedule, health permitting, is weeknights. We are doing a combination of the First Descendant and Path of Exile 2. Fridays, we are doing Mass Effect Andromeda multiplayer. Saturdays, we are doing Mass Effect 3 multiplayer. And then Sundays, we are doing Pyre multiplayer. Then Hades 2 videos straight to YouTube. Lids Vids there as well. So be on the lookout for those. For what it's worth, there actually is a special event going on next Sunday for Path of Exile 2 race event, the first ever race event for, or the third part of the first ever race event for Path of Exile 2 that I'm kind of interested in doing. I haven't been able to do the previous two for health reasons, but it would very likely conflict with Rite Night timing, so just a heads up that I may look to see if someone else can host Rite Night in my stead next week for that reason, but I suppose we can work out the logistics on that front in the coming days, but just wanted to give you guys a little heads up for that. But if you haven't done so yet already, of course, you can also hit the follow button to get notification for when I go live. Also, at Lids Vids on Twitter, I post every when I go live as well, but actually the best place to stay up to date on all things Lids is my Discord, which you can join if I spelled it correctly, and I didn't. Hold on. You can join my Discord by clicking on that link right there. That's going to be it for me for tonight, so thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the stream, and I'll catch you next time.